Doing the right thing isn't always easy, and nowhere is this more apparent than in the wellness world. You know, every day we're bombarded by the latest headlines warning us about the thing that's going to kill us next. And, we're grateful for the new science, but the mixed messages can be really overwhelming. One day we're told to eat eggs, the next day we're told eggs are bad for us. One day we're told coffee's not good for us, the next day coffee's great. So the best advice is to put your energy towards the big picture goals, the getting the balanced diet, the regular exercise, taking care of your mental well-being. And when it comes to the following 7 habits, you can drop the guilt and just focus on what matters. Hi, I'm Stephanie Phillips Markstein, and I help health conscious people optimize their physical and emotional well-being so that they can show up in the world as the best and most confident version of themselves. Habit number 1, diet drinks. So if you've heard me once, you've heard me 1,000 times warn you to stay off of the diet drinks. And the truth is that, at one point, juices and sodas and teas that were made with 0-calorie sweeteners were, once touted as a healthy, magically calorie-free way to, alternative to sugary beverages. And then, of course, there came the backlash. And, there were studies that were linked to artificial sweeteners, with cancer, heart disease, unhealthy gut bacteria. And there were even some studies that suggested that that the 0-calorie sweeteners actually contribute to weight gain, even though they're not adding any calories to your drink. The truth is that the findings have been very mixed and have been inconsistent. And so really the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, which is usually the case anyway. I think the rule of thumb is to not have more than 1 diet drink a day. If possible, maybe only just a few a week. But recent studies have linked 2 or more diet sodas a day with higher risk for stroke and heart disease among postmenopausal women. So that said, you don't want to, you want to take things in moderation. So if you really need your Diet Coke and you want one, once every few days or even once a day, it's not going to kill you. So just remember that it's better to drink water and even seltzer, no calorie, just plain old seltzer. But if you need to have your Diet Coke once in a while, it's okay. Second habit is eating carbs. So in today's society, carbs have kind of become a dirty word. And it's kind of unfortunate because many diets have actually encouraged people to cut out carbs almost entirely. This is not practical, and I've talked about this before. And even when I discuss the keto diet, I make sure to remind people that even on the ketogenic diet, you're still having some carbs. Is it as many as we eat, on a regular basis on the standard American diet, also known as SAD? No, it isn't. But you still need to get carbs in your diet. In fact, the Federal Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends that 45 to 65% of your daily calories come from carbohydrates. The key is that because we need carbs for energy. And without them, we pretty much would have no energy. So the key is that the strategy should be not to reduce carbs entirely or to cut them out entirely, but rather to reduce your refined carbohydrate intake. So that's the white breads, the white flour, the white sugar, and then add in the better carbs, the legumes, fruits and vegetables. Don't forget vegetables have carbs, but they're a healthy sort of carb because they come loaded with fiber and vitamins and minerals. So as long as you're not getting the refined carbs of the white flour and the white sugar, then you're going to be a lot better off. And if you need, grains, whole grains are fine in moderation. Habit number 3, your afternoon nap. I'm here to give you the good news, and that is that it's okay to take a nap. There are a few pleasures greater than a mid-afternoon snooze. And that may be why, according to the National Sleep Foundation, more than half of Americans have taken a nap in the last 7 days. Now, my guess is that most of them have taken them on the weekends, but that's okay. The problem is that society frowns on napping. You might remember this is the Seinfeld episode in which George was caught napping under his desk. He even like made a little spot for his alarm clock, and he had a blanket and a pillow. And so yeah, that's the extreme version. But there's nothing wrong, especially if you're sleep deprived. There's nothing wrong with taking a quick nap in the afternoon. The biggest issue with taking a nap is that you don't want to take it too close to bedtime because it might interfere with your sleep cycle, and you don't want it to be too long. So typically 30 minutes or under is the right time frame for a nap. The next habit is skipping your breast self-exam. Now, admittedly, this only really applies to women, but it's important because for many, many years, health organizations around the world urged women to perform a monthly breast self-exam. And if you're like me and you didn't do it, more often than not, you felt guilty about it. Well, the good news is that in 2015, the American Cancer Society updated its guidelines to state that breast self-exams are no longer recommended. The American College of Obstetricians and the American College of Physicians have also stopped recommending them. And it's mostly because women don't really know what they're looking for. So often what happens is with self-exams is that it causes more false positives than would otherwise be the case. And then there end up becoming more biopsies that are unnecessary and actually can sometimes be quite invasive and harmful. So the better way to screen for cancer is to make sure that you're getting your regular mammograms. You should be getting a regular mammogram once a year, and becoming familiar with what's normal for you. And if you do come across anything that's really unfamiliar, discussing it with your physician. The fifth habit that's not so bad for you is mindless screen time. So, we've all been saying for a long time that sitting is the new smoking, and that we have to be really careful with, these long bouts of mindless Netflix binges and other, Hulu binges, in which we sit for hours and hours at a time watching a screen. The thing is that there are times for, there's a time and a place for everything, right? And there are times when we need to take the pressure off. We need to just relax and kind of let our brains melt a little bit. And so the key to screen time is how it makes you feel afterwards. Do you feel fatigued and dragged down and depressed after you've spent, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours watching, your favorite show? If that's the case, then maybe you should get out with your friends or exercise instead. But if you feel good and you feel relaxed and you feel like you were able to kind of, decompress and not feel so stressed, then it's fine. The next habit is your morning coffee. And again, this is great news. We have heard, at various times over the course of the last several decades, coffee's good, coffee's bad, coffee's good. No, coffee's bad. No, coffee's good. And it's for the most part, I think, gotten a bad rap. But because, caffeine can disrupt sleep, and the truth is that it has a half-life. So, if you have a cup of coffee in the morning at 8 a.m., you still have that caffeine in your body at 8 p.m. You have half of it. 50% of that caffeine is still in your body at 8 p.m. So if you're a constant coffee drinker who drinks coffee through the day, you never actually get rid of the caffeine in your body. And that's probably not a very good thing. However, the latest studies have debunked the heart worries, at least when caffeine is kept in reasonable amounts. And there was a 2017 scientific review of more than 400 studies. And in that, scientists determined that drinking up to 400 milligrams of coffee, which is basically about the same as 4 8-ounce cups per day, is safe for most people. So I don't know about you, but I think that's great news. I only drink 1 or 2 cups a day, so 4 cups a day is a lot to me. And even better for you pregnant women, you can actually drink up to 3 cups per day, 8-ounce cups per day, and still be safe. So that's really good news. The other piece of this is that for most Americans, coffee is the average American's top source of antioxidants, which help to fight aging and inflammation. So the key is that you don't want to load it up with bad stuff. So if you're using that non-dairy creamer, or you're drinking, the Starbucks, special latte of the day that's, 5,000 calories and has, 25 grams of sugar, don't do that. But a standard cup of coffee with a little bit of cream and a little bit of sugar is totally fine. And finally, for those of you antiperspirant deodorant wearers, yeah, I'm included in that too. There was a whole long, and you might remember this, backlash against antiperspirant because they thought that the aluminum that's in it, which helps to keep us from perspiring, caused cancer. And it became a big to-do. And in fact, the reason is that because our underarms are so close to our breast area, they thought that, the medical community at one point thought that antiperspirants and deodorants contributed to cancer, breast cancer, because it's so close to the same area. The good news is that that's not the case. In fact, the National Cancer Institute and the American Cancer Society have debunked that, and they have found no evidence to suggest that there's a link between antiperspirant and cancer, which is great news. And they noted that the penetration rate of aluminum into the skin after applying antiperspirant is extremely low, and that there is no consistent data to link the two things. So that's good news, and now we can continue not to smell. I hope this has been helpful and valuable to you. If it has, I urge you to, or I would love for you to like or share my video. Also, if you are interested in, getting healthier and feeling better, I would invite you to take a look at the piece that I have created called Keto for Beginners. It's a free PDF that gives you exercises to trim your waist. It gives you recipes for, that are keto friendly. And more importantly, it contains many questions and answers to your most pressing, keto problems, keto questions about how it works, how can you make it fit into your lifestyle, what are the key components of the diet. So if you've been looking to start a ketogenic diet, but you just don't know where to start, the Keto for Beginners is going to be for you. So you need to click on the link below, and you can get that for free. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope to see you guys on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for Saturdays with Stephanie on my Facebook page. Thanks a lot.